are many causes of deforestation, such as human activity, agricultural expansion, livestock ranching, commercial logging, infrastructure expansion, and overpopulation. Human activity is one of the main causes of deforestation in Africa due to the extent at which developing countries heavily rely on wood fuel. This is because it is their main energy source for both cooking and heating. Agricultural expansion is the conversion of forests into agricultural plantations and continues to be a leading cause of deforestation in Africa because of the constant increase in global demand for goods.
One of the biggest threats to Gombe National Park has actually been deforestation, and that's mostly communities going out and cutting, forests for either firewood or to have more land for agriculture.
Habitat is lost when roads are put in for logging or logging concessions are granted, or when farmers simply slash and burn the local forest in order to provide new room for crops.
Deforestation leads to many environmental and societal problems in Africa and around the world. Deforestation increases species extinction due to loss of habitat. Removing trees and their roots from the soil can lead to silt entering water sources, which in turn decreases water quality and overall health in communities. The main environmental concern of deforestation is global climate change. Trees store carbon, and when they die, it is released, which increases the levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Deforestation impacts tribal groups by forcing them to change their resource base, or sometimes relocate out of forests and change their way of life forever.
Deforestation can lead to another serious environmental problem called desertification. As global temperatures rise and forests are cleared for agriculture, the soil in dryland areas can literally turn to dust, taking with it the livelihoods of the people who live there. At the surface level, desertification is caused by human activities such as deforestation, overgrazing, and the removal of natural vegetation cover for agriculture. The process is accelerated by an overall loss of moisture as temperatures rise worldwide. Yet the ultimate cause of desertification is poverty and desperation. Economic policies and limited mobility favor sedentary farming, which puts pressure on weakened dryland ecosystems. People whose income depends on the market economy for agriculture are forced to put intensified pressures on degraded land so as to increase agricultural output. These practices further degrade the land, creating a vicious spiral.
Desertification has many different effects on the environment and the people of the world. Nearly 1/3 of the land surface on Earth has fallen victim to desertification, and it takes 30 million more acres every year. Due to desertification, soil often becomes infertile, and there is sometimes soil erosion due to increased runoff and direct exposure to wind. The process of desertification is worsened as the soil becomes increasingly dry, and there are many more plants to hold it into place and distribute nutrients. Due to soil becoming infertile, vegetation has become destroyed. Desertification often leads to natural disasters such as dust, storms, flooding, and dangerous pollution. Desertification is slowly killing the environment and the world around us. As well as effects on the environment, desertification also affects people and animals, such as chimpanzees, lions, and rhinos, in many different ways. Many civilizations, such as the Maasai, have come to an end due to desertification. Desertification leads to hunger and poverty due to drought and loss of farmland. Due to soil erosion and runoff, water becomes polluted without the plants and the trees that act as natural filters. Many species that once lived in a fertile climate will not survive in the new desert regions. Animals and people are being forced to move from their homeland due to desertification.
There is still hope to reverse some of the effects of desertification. To end desertification, policies need to change, both on a global and local scale. Economic policies favoring sustainable practices such as nomadic herding over sedentary farming can help stop land degradation by allowing the land time to replenish itself.
Planting of the acacia trees reverses desertification by preventing soil erosion and providing nutrients for other plants and crops to grow. The trees also remove carbon from the atmosphere. Good news from an environmental perspective, but also for the tens of thousands of people living within the Sahel.
The most important way to prevent desertification is by creating a culture of prevention. This can be achieved by policies that identify preservation and sustainability as a priority. Governments should create economic opportunities outside of dry lands and encourage sustainable practices. They need to increase the mobility of nomads and support rotating use of rangelands and wells, giving time for the natural resources of these areas to replenish themselves. Community-based land maintenance and decision-making can empower whole communities to commit to land preservation. Since 2005, one project has directly combated deforestation and desertification at their roots. The Great Green Wall began as an initiative to plant a line of trees across the continent and developed into a complex, multi-phased approach. Combating desertification through the creation of productive natural ecosystems, restoration of indigenous farming practices, and the development of rich economic and educational opportunities in Africa's dry lands.